Okay, I found what the legend knowing guy says in Pokemon Y. So I'll just read it out. It happened about 800 years ago. The Pokemon known as Yveltal spread its ominous wings, engulfing the land of Kalos in darkness. At the moment, people and Pokemon throughout the land began to fall one by one. Yveltal let out a piercing cry and took to the sky, vanishing to an unknown location. Stories say that when it nears the end of its 1,000-year lifespan, Yveltal absorbs the life force of the living things around it in order to charge its own energy. Another tale talks of the appearance of just such a terrifying Pokemon. Back 3,000 years ago, the Kalos region was engulfed in a terrible war. According to the stories, a Pokemon appeared and stole the life force of countless living beings. Some people suspect the Pokemon that appeared was Yveltal, but there's no way to know. Maybe they're just using a legendary Pokemon as a metaphor for war and pestilence. In the tales, after Yveltal finished storing the energy it had absorbed, it transformed into a kind of cocoon, remaining in hiding deep in the mountains. According to old tales, as I say. Tales and stories. So that's cool. That's probably about what we expected, but I do like that NPC's stories. I don't know, they're pretty standard. They're not, like, groundbreaking, but bits of Pokemon lore, but they're nice. For defeating this gym leader, I've gone on and engraved your name on what's got to be two of the cooler statues around. Check them out, would you? Alright. Those statues are okay, I guess, but I mean, in this gym? Can't say I was all that focused on the statues. Anyway. Off we go. Oh, it's Team Flare Grunt. Sure getting the Psychic Badge wasn't too much trouble for you, right, X? And here's Serena. She wants a rematch. I think I'll challenge you to a daily battle when this trip is all said and done. Seems like the neighborly thing to do. Really, kind of started to turn into Nimona before Nimona here. Let's have a rematch! We just battled and she wants to battle again. That's Nimona, alright. Battling tough trainers is the best way to get stronger, after all. But no time for that. What could this be? And here we go. Pokemon trainers, I come to you by the Holocaster to make an important announcement. Listen well. Team Flare will revive the ultimate weapon, eliminate everyone who isn't in our group, and return the world to a beautiful natural state. Unproductive fools are consuming our future. If nothing changes, the world will become ugly, and conflicts will raze the land from end to end. I repeat, we will use the ultimate weapon and wipe the slate clean. I'm sorry those of you who are not members of Team Flare, but this is adieu to you all. What was Lysandre saying? Guys, do you think Lysandre might be a bad guy? Wiping the slate clean? Eliminating everyone but Team Flare? X, let's look for Team Flare's headquarters. Where could Lysandre be? Perhaps he's where we first met him, in Lumiose City. Perhaps. What do you two have to say for yourselves? Team Flare forever, because this outfit adds extra pizzazz to drinking espresso at Lysandre Cafe. Oh. Yeah, I wonder where Lysandre is then. Alright. Do you know where Magenta Plaza is? It's next to the Pokemon Center by Prism Tower, which is in the center of Lumiose City. There's nothing quite like coffee from the cafe next to Magenta Plaza. So they are just straight up telling me where to go. Pokemon. The funniest version of this, of course, is the grunts in the Hoenn games. When you go to their hideout by Lily Cove City, and there are two grunts, and one of them's like, my boss has gone to steal a submarine, but I'll never tell you where he is. And the other one is like, my boss is in Slateport City, but I'll never tell you what he's doing there. Or something like that. They're standing right next to each other. That one's very funny. This one is maybe a little clunkier. A couple thoughts before we head off. A few thoughts, actually. So, Lysandre... I feel like there are a lot of things about Lysandre that I slept on, even in my first playthrough when I was reading all of the dialogue. But there's a real kind of classist angle to him. There's another word that I'm not thinking of as well. Like, he talks about eliminating the unproductive fools of the world. I think it's fair to say that the theme of this game so far has been that kind of... There are a lot of different kinds of people who approach life in their own ways, and everyone has a place in the Kalos region. And so that's actually clashing pretty well with Lysandre talking about how some people are unproductive and only consume, and he thinks it's best that they be killed. And it kind of does tie into, you know, the talk of kings and the wealthy, and their place in this society, and as well as the weird work culture that we saw in Lumiose City. Honestly, I don't know how much is even intended by Game Freak, but things are fitting together pretty well here. And the other reason I called it classism is, of course, we know that there's a buy-in to join Team Flare. In fact, that seems to be the only criterion. A lot of the grunts are just kind of bumbling, silly people who really aren't accomplishing much, even as they walk around in their suits. Did I just hear someone knocking on the door? Hang on, I'm gonna pause the recording. Okay, yeah, I got a package delivery that went to the wrong door, so someone was just dropping it off. Anyway, yeah, so the only criterion that we've seen for Team Flare is basically to be rich. You just have to pay a really steep buy-in amount, and you can become part of this elite that Lysandre wants to preserve. And of course, Lysandre himself is rich, and is descended from old nobility. I'm going to keep an eye out for more signs of this as we confront him a few times in this episode. But I'm really getting the feeling that Lysandre, when he divides people into producers and consumers, it's not strictly on the merit of what they do for the society. Not that that matters. I mean, not that that would be justified anyway, because this is a diverse, colorful society with a lot of different people and a lot of different roles. And Lysandre, even before that reveal that was such a surprise to Serena there, has been shown to not appreciate that, and that makes him the bad guy. Guys, I think this game might have a better story than I ever realized before. Like I said, I'll give final thoughts at the end. Probably not going to call it the best in the series or anything especially close, but yeah, I think I've slept on it a bit. Anyway, one more thing to do before we go to Lysandre Cafe, where we were so helpfully directed. Bet you thought I forgot. And I wish I did, but hello, Mr. Bonding. Wow, O-powers are mysterious forces. Experience point power? That sounds nice, actually. But I don't care. I want nothing to do with this guy. I hope I never see him again. How are my Pokemon holding up? Okay. I should heal before I run off. Guess I could have talked all that out while going to Lumiose City, but yeah, maybe I'll have more thoughts. But yeah, we saw the Parfum Palace owner was kind of stuck up, and we saw people talking about, oh, the rich, they think they're better than us. And I kind of joked about... What did I joke about? The game very gently pushing an agenda, but not really, because it's a Pokemon game, it's not that deep. But yeah, digging a little more into Team Flare. I think Lysandre, I mean, he's a tech entrepreneur. He has done some work, and I don't know if it's how much it's going to come up here, but in the anime, for example, he was a big-time philanthropist who burned out because people tried to take more than he can give, is basically, I think, how he puts it. So there are other reasons for him to think that he is this actual valuable, productive savior figure. Even as, again, that's just not the right way to think about things. But yeah, Team Flare. I mean, you could say maybe it's transactional in his mind. He needs people to carry out his plan, and he promises them salvation in return, but I don't know, Lysandre doesn't seem like a well, I guess he does kind of seem like a transactional guy in that he does things for people and expects them to conform to certain ways of being in return. But, like, he seems like a true believer in his ideology. And I don't think he would call Team Flare the worthy few if he didn't mean it. But they don't show much, except that they have money. So there's something there, I think. We'll keep an eye on what else Lysandre says. Anyway, welcome back here. I could ride a goat over to the gate that I want, but I think this is no time for such frivolous activity. We've got a world to save or something. Anyway, just going to the Route 13 gate because I know that Lysandre Cafe is near that. This is, of course, the route when we first come in. Yeah, there's a grunt. Hello. Yeah. Really bloom when we're having lively debates about how to make a better tomorrow. So bitter, so dry. Okay. Espresso is the oil that keeps our gears running smoothly. And they really like this cafe, huh? Let's go shut it down. Today our special is get out of here or else. On some level you have to love Team Flare, however well their story works. They're such goofballs. I do kind of worry though that Team Flare headquarters is not the best place to train Penny. But we'll just swap out to Lucky here and hope that we don't get annihilated by a high jump kick. If that does happen, we'll just go to Cake. But no, Facade, no problem. Goodbye. It is kind of fun. Funny's not the right word, but it is a nice touch that their trainer class is Team Flare Grunt still, even as, you know, this guy's a waiter. I need my stylish red Team Flare suit to unleash my full power. I don't think that would have helped you, my friend. Oh no, he'll find out the password to the hidden door at this cafe is Open Sesame. Yeah, okay, that's kind of funny, kind of a funny similarity to those Team Aqua or Magma grunts that I was talking about earlier. Today's special is a scramble. If you don't, get out of here now. Oh, and then she trails off. Okay, sure. Team Flare Grunt. Lipard. Kind of just icicle crash this. And probably finish it with an aerial ace so as to not miss. The penny's getting low already. Oh well, we can switch train. Was I actually a part of Team Flare, or was I just a waitress? Yeah, I wonder. At this rate, he'll figure out there's a hidden door to Lysandre Labs. Huh, where could it be? Is it over here? Open Sesame. Is it over here? Nope. I didn't mean to leave the cafe. Is it in this table? Open Sesame. Behind the counter. Piece of furniture is giving off a mysterious vibe. Open Sesame. There we go. And after that, it still gives off a mysterious vibe. What secrets is it holding? And we're in Lysandre Labs, and look who it is. Welcome. This world will eventually reach the point of no return. Saving the lives of all is impossible. Only the chosen ones will obtain a ticket to tomorrow. Do you want to have a ticket? Or do you want to stop me? Show me in battle. A little bit of grudging respect there. Kinda seems like he might offer me a ticket. This, of course, is the first of 3 battles with Lysandre, all of which are in this episode. And I kind of feel like Game Freak learned a lesson here. Like, for whatever reason, they kept the Lysandre full villain reveal this late in the game, but they still tried to have the multiple battles with him like you'd have against Cyrus in Platinum or Giovanni in Red and Blue. But it's kind of silly. They got 3 battles with Lysandre, but they're all just packed together. And his team gets stronger very quickly. It doesn't really work, and I feel like they kind of learned from that because, of course, you battle Lusamine only twice in Sun and Moon, once in the Ultra games. And there's a decent gap between those. You only battle Chairman Rose once. You only battle Professor Sada Arturo once. In this game, it kind of feels like they're forcing the multiple battles throughout the story that they did before, except they're not actually spreading them out throughout the story. Don't need rest on Penny. But I guess they learned. That's good. Oh, this is not the Pokemon you want to use here, my friend. I do like this battle music. Probably one of my favorites in these games. Okay, I guess that was the Pokemon you wanted to use here. But I got something for that Iron Head, don't worry. Obviously I went for Thunderbolt and Cake there, but it's not my only Thunderbolt user. This one's not taking much from a Steel attack. In fact, Shockproof might be... Shockproof might have been able to just sweep his team. So I thought. Man, that one hurts. Alright. Just gonna have to rely on Cake. That was a crit, right? Or did I just imagine that? Good thing I still have a bunch of milk. Just need to be able to take 2 Iron Heads. Should be able to do. Come on. Have some more milk, Cake. I didn't count on Lysandre getting timely flinches and crits like that. Maybe he really is the chosen hero. If I get flinched again here, who am I to stand in Lysandre? Alright, well, you know what? After thinking it over, I'm pretty sure Lysandre actually is the hero of Destiny, and there's no real use trying to stand in his way. So you know what? That's the episode. That's the playthrough. My bad. Sorry if you're not in Team Flare, but they're right. I guess it's just them who deserve to survive. So alright, see you next time. Bye. Nah, just kidding, but this battle has gotten pretty scary all of a sudden. I'm gonna try to poison the Gyarados, because I feel like I might have to do a lot more switching and healing against it at this rate, so the residual damage sure would be useful. We do get the poison. We almost lose Marsh immediately. Everything I have left is weak to either Iron Head or Earthquake, except Midnight the Pumpkaboo, which is at level 35. I'm not entirely opposed to sacking Midnight in this battle, but I have to think about when. Well, I can switch Midnight in here, probably take an Earthquake with the resistance, and then heal someone, and try to just outlast this Gyarados with the poison damage. Of course, I do have 2 more Lysandre battles coming up, and we'll even Mega Evolve this Gyarados in the last one. And I've just lost, arguably, my 2 strongest Pokemon, so it's not looking great for the good guys here. In fact, perhaps we're the bad guys. I'm having a bit of a crisis of faith. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and sack Midnight. Oh, went for Outrage. Okay, that's actually good, because I can get Lucky in for free. And, like, chip it with Dazzling Gleam. Goodbye Midnight, though. Here's Lucky. And yeah, we'll just Dazzling Gleam. The Outrage, of course, does nothing. Lucky, you're now the only Fairy type on the team. So I can talk up the power of the Fairy type as well as how good it is that you're a Steel type. Unfortunately, it's not great that you're a Steel type when he's about to send in a Pyroar. And I have no switch in for that. Alright, well... Marsh is at full HP. I can switch Marsh in, but I'm not confident that it takes 2 hits from this. The other play is to sack Penny. Because I only have 3 Pokemon left in this party, and Penny is, it's fair to say, the least valuable to the run. We certainly spent the least time with her, and that's the kind of cold video game logic that you have to apply in a Nuzlocke, I suppose. So, do I switch to Marsh? I think switching to Marsh could be a game-losing play. I think we sack Penny here. I guess the other option is to sack Lucky and get off Toxic or Thunder Wave, but... Oh, Fire Blast. That can miss. Unfortunately, it doesn't here. But I feel like Lucky is too valuable. So... Goodbye, Penny. Marsh. Be very clutch if you poison this, too. But as long as he's using Fire Blast and we're survive it. Of course, it can miss. Oh, we got the poison. Okay, good. Drink some more milk. We're rapidly burning through that milk that I bought, so good thing I bought it, huh? Good thing I just saw a dozen bottles of milk and said, yes, of course I want that. He hits another Fire Blast. Drink some more milk. Hope this milk makes Marsh nice and agile and good at dodging fire. Not yet, though. Riveting gameplay, I know. Oh, and he gets the burn with this one. So I guess I'll use a full restore this time. He still hasn't missed a Fire Blast. Because again, he is the chosen hero of Destiny. We know that by now. But I am going to embrace my villain role with his full restore. Even Cake the Swirlix couldn't stop this guy. But we're still going to try. Dark Pulse. That's a weird choice. But, alright, goodbye Pyroar, and I believe his last Pokemon is a Murkrow, unless it's already evolved. Okay, it is a Murkrow. Will we get a third first turn poison? Yes! Alright, got a little bit of Destiny on my side too, huh? Ugh. And that's the first of 3 Lysandre battles right there. No big deal, right? We may yet stop him, but he's done a pretty good job of killing the world's Pokemon already. I can feel the fire of your convictions burning deep within your heart. I'm not so sure about that at this point. And it's definitely not the time for that celebration pose. Wahaha! Wahaha! Wah! Your convictions and those of your Pokemon please me. You are here to stop me, but I ask you to wait. I tried to save people and the world. Tried to save people and the world with the profit from this lab, but my efforts had no effect. The world was just too vast, and too full of fools that I couldn't save through my hard work alone. That's why I decided the only way to save the world was to take it all for myself. I don't expect that I will ever make you understand how I think and feel. Try to stop the ultimate weapon if you must, but to do so, you will have to explore our lab and have Pokemon battles with all you meet. Okay, so I know that Lysandre thinks that... Oh, and as for the elevator key, one of the Team Flare scientists you met on your journey has it. Saving everything. The world is suffering because of this absurd dream. I know that Lysandre thinks that he tried to use his wealth to help people and there was just too much for him to do by himself. But I wonder, based on what we know of his character so far, how much of that was that, like, people didn't accept help on the specific terms that he wanted and thought were good. And we know he thinks that his worldview is the only way. And yeah, I guess it's kind of logical that it led him to where he is. Though again, people he brings with him, kind of disproportionately wealthy. Kind of feels like he landed on, these people won't help themselves, so I will only save those who have the means to not need that help. There's a certain political bent to that. Anyway, let's say some quick goodbyes, because we have a world to save, to Penny the Bear Tick. Guess I'll take that icicle plate back. Shockproof the lantern. Guess I'll take that zap plate back. Nightmare, or why do I keep saying nightmare? Midnight, the Pumpkaboo. And saddest of all, truly the greatest loss of this whole run, for eclipsing even the starter. Cake the Swirlix. I really thought you were going all the way. But Lysandre just had fate on his side. A little too much. We won't forget you, though. And we'll try not to let you die in vain. Okay, and on the bench, what do you know? I have exactly 4 Pokemon available. Welcome back, Sneaky the Horsey, Shooty the Clauncher, whom I guess we'll train now, because I don't have another water type. Well, I don't have a better water type, I mean. Smile the Mantike, and Santa the Delibird. That's the team right now. Marsh, Lucky, Sneaky, Shooty, Smile, and Santa. And nobody coming in to back them up. So, I'll move Shooty to the front of the party. Switch training might be a little risky at this point with only 2 strong Pokemon, but I want to get to more than 2 strong Pokemon, so we'll have to chance it. Do a quick TM check for some of the new guys. Santa can learn Thief. Anything Santa can learn is probably useful right now. Santa can learn Aerial Ace, that's very good. Santa can learn Power Up Punch. Santa can learn Fly. We're not going to worry about that right now. Maybe when we have somewhere to go with the out-of-battle effect. It'll probably make sense to teach Fly to Santa. Everybody can learn Facade. Might as well drop Present for that. But actually, I'm going to undo that immediately by teaching Frost Breath to Santa instead. And actually, what's Santa's ability? Hustle. I hate that ability, but it pairs well with Aerial Ace at least. What if I teach Fly to Santa right now over Thief, and then I go see the Hidden Power Checker in Anastar City? Maybe somebody will have, on this team will have a good hidden power type. Let's do that. We need all the tools we can get here. So yeah, delete Thief for Fly. I'll keep Aerial Ace because again it pairs well with Hustle. I really hate Hustle. Missing moves sucks, and I tend to think is not worth the accuracy drop. But with Aerial Ace, we don't have that problem. Look at that sundial. Triumphant soaring pose really doesn't match how I'm feeling right now, but that's okay. Where is the Hidden Power Checker? Am I even in the right place, or was it? Were they in Don DeMille Town? No, this is him. Okay. Let's check Shooty. Fire? That's not bad. I'll check. Sneaky. Grass is pretty good. And I'll check. Smile. Fire. Alright, let's teach Hidden Power to probably all three of them. Let's see. Shooty first. Oh, hold on. Where was the move deleter? Is he in Don DeMille Town or Lever City? I'll delete Cut from Shooty and then teach Hidden Power. Sneaky. Can drop Bubble Beam, I guess. We're not gonna get into that many double battles, so Surf is fine for Water Stab. That's Hidden Power Grass. Smile. We have Hidden Power Fire instead of Wide Guard, I guess. And yeah, I'll go find the move deleter and delete Cut from Shooty and teach Hidden Power Fire. The move deleter wasn't in this city, right? I think they were in one of the earlier two. Let's see. Go down to Milltown first. No buildings down here. Wow, first try again. I'm gonna keep strength on Marsh for now, by the way. After all, we will need strength in Victory Road, I'm pretty sure, when we get there. Surely Marsh will survive that long. Okay, yeah, so we'll delete Cut. Shooty now has Venoshock, Water Pulse, Surf, and in just a second, Hidden Power Fire. Okay. And back to Lumio City. Let me go to this one. Right in the center. I don't use fly much in a playthrough usually. It looks like there are at least 3 fly spots in Lumio City. You can fly to the North Boulevard, South Boulevard, or this spot in the center. Anyway, there's our team. Here's what's left of it right now. Let's go fight some bad guys. Or maybe good guys, as the case may be. Maybe Lysandre has a point. But we should still be able to beat up some grunts, right? Surely. Hello. You'll be captivated by the warp panel and transported away. I've been playing Pokemon since the very early 2000s. Don't worry, I'm used to warp panels. Alright, we'll go to... I guess we'll go to Marsh against this. I don't like Lucky's damage output back into it. Stockpile is annoying, but maybe we'll get a sniper boosted Night Slash crit. I feel like I'm owed some crits after recent events. Let's see. That's not a crit. That's more like it. Okay. Over to the warp panel. And it's a scientist already. Maybe she has the key. Ah ha ha! Why, if it isn't that fascinating little trainer from the Kalos power plant. So we meet again, just as I said we would. That's it? Okay, that's the whole speech. But this drops to a Dazzling Gleam. I haven't said it out loud, but right now, basically the battling team is Lucky, Marsh, Santa, and Shooty, although Shooty is just being heavily switch-trained at this point. And then Sneaky and Smile are back to their old spots, sitting in the back. So we can't fully evolve them. Isidro might still be worthwhile. It was a fully evolved Pokemon at one point. I don't know. Whoa, a Druddigon. I don't think we've seen one of those in the playthrough yet. That's a weird-looking Gen 5 Pokemon that I think translated pretty well to 3D. Okay, the defense drop is a bit of a problem, but we pull through. Get that out of here. And anyone watching might hate this, but I feel like I should be kind of aggressive right now about going back and healing. I guess I will get access to their nap room pretty soon, which will make it a little better. But yeah, we've had enough loss in this hideout raid already. You sure are an interesting trainer. You're far more capable than our useless grunts. Yeah, but I'm not as rich as them, so I'm not one of the chosen, you know? I don't have the key, but I'll let you pass. But which warp panel could it be? Which one could it be? It's a little silly. I think it's this warp panel. It's a different color, so it's probably special. Just kidding. I knew that was the one to the entrance. I do want to go back and heal. It's a little silly. I guess Team Flare are kind of playing games with me as I run around in their hideout. Maybe Lysandre is doing a little bit of the end thing, where he really is kind of thinking Destiny is on his side, but he wants to test it. I don't know. But of course, we've seen silly, no-name Team Flare grunts, whom I and their own scientists have talked down as incompetent, lose battles to me and then still just stand there blocking my way, and apparently there's nothing I can do about that. But one of the big bad scientists, I beat her and she says, alright, yeah, I'll get out of your way. So who's incompetent after all? But they do seem to be playing games with me. Really, I think it's just, you know, a contrivance because the story has to go. But in-universe, they do kind of seem to be playing games with me, as if Lysandre wants to test something. Or the scientists just don't care. I mean, they don't seem to care about much. Time for me to lay waste to you and your Pokemon and finally get recognized by the admins. I don't think that's going to happen, my friend. Another Swalot. Probably handle this like the last one. Yep, going just like the last battle so far. Crit. Nope. Beat for beat the last battle so far. And last time I got a crit on the second Night Slash. So let's see it. No, but it still did a lot of damage. Better watch out for that acid spray, depending on what this grunt has in the back. There's the crit when we didn't need it. That's okay. And a Light Bird, that's not going to target the lowered special defense. What is Poison Fang's base power? I think Strength might actually be stronger, even with the stab. Yeah, Poison Fang is 50, so Strength is actually a tiny bit stronger. Anyway, no reason not to use it here. No good, no good. The admins are gonna be so mad. What's in this room? Oh, it's those masked heroes that I kind of almost forgot about, actually. No sign of him here, either. You, have you seen anything? We're looking for a really tall guy. And I mean tall. If you stretched out a Seviper and stood it up, he'd be that tall. We received some intelligence that Team Flare is also trying to find him for some reason. His relationship to Team Flare is still a mystery, but... Oh, by the way, I've got something for you. Take these with you, X. How do you know my name? Oh, wait, we met some time ago, but I didn't get your name then. I've never heard your name before, not once. Anyway. We came here at a certain professor's request to stop Team Flare. I assume your goal is the same. Don't do anything reckless, okay? What is that Lysandre guy thinking? I thought he wanted a beautiful world. The professor's feeling pretty down, but he's using his network of acquaintances to try to stop Team Flare's plan. Okay, we never really see that in action except that these two show up. For sure. Yeah, but they talked about a really tall guy, like same height as a Seviper. And we've heard from NPCs in our travels, well, we saw him once, but also about a really tall guy looking for a Pokemon. And we've heard about an old king of Kalos with a fairy-type Pokemon that saved his life. What could it all mean? If we paid attention up to this point, we could really be wondering that on a first playthrough. What? You want to lie down and take a little nap? What a softie. Do you really think you could really use this TM? I'm sorry, was she trying to taunt me there? Is that what that was? What taunt is using against Pokemon? Yeah. What a softie. Not a great taunt. I don't think that's what Pokemon are saying in battle. Oh my, you took off Team Flare's awesome suit? You didn't want to get it all wrinkled in bed, hey? So that person completely missed that there's an intruder. It's always a little silly when you're in the evil team base and you can just take a nap, but that's our healing spot now. Useful to have. And we zoomed past this guy earlier. Fashionable people can battle too. You sure? I haven't seen much proof. Another light purge. Guess this guy's a liar. Go Marsh. Marsh is just at a lower level than Lucky. And either one of them can handle this. And a Mightyena without Intimidate, as usual in this game. So we'll just push that too, like a boulder. I'm actually gonna, because it's looking at 3-hit KO, I'm gonna Poison Fang here and see if I poison it. No, but I crit. Goodbye. Fashionable people can be sad too. That I do know by now. Thank you. You can lose, yeah. Okay. I'm gonna send you spinning. Yeah, I get it, because they have those arrow pads in the space. What do I switch in on this? I guess it has to be Marsh. I don't have a lantern anymore, do I? Try to poison it. Yep. Just like that. Try to punch it. Yep, just like that. Goodbye. This Pokemon is back to being kind of a problem. I'm actually going to switch to Santa. And hope I get to take it out with Aerial Ace. I don't think this will do too much. Okay, I was mistaken. Never mind, we're going to switch to Lucky. And try to take it out with Dazzling Gleam. And then we're going to run back to that healing spot, which is still conveniently not behind any warp panels or arrow pads at this point. Nasty plot. Wow, those Venoshocks would actually hurt now if I didn't have an immunity on the field. Not gonna get one off anyway. Whatever. I care not if I lose. I'll be in a brand new world of beauty and perfection soon. Now that's privilege. But it's not gonna happen. Stepping on the spin panels will send you spinning on until you run into something. Yeah, I know. Trust me, I know. Team Rocket did it first and better. And you know what? They're more fashionable too. That set of 4 spin panels is pretty silly. This is how they have to navigate this place, huh? And we're in Lysandre Labs, so like this might be how legitimate workers have to navigate their workplace. I don't know if it's better or worse than self-workers having to use the warp pads in that complicated maze, but anyway, I guess they don't have to. They can take the stairs. They just have a bizarre series of shortcuts in their building, so this is definitely worse. Wow, you came all this way. I suppose I'd better cheer. Go Team Flare! Go, go, Team Flare! F to the L to the A to the R to the E. That's the spirit. And my neck trick. Actually, not the easiest Pokemon for my team to deal with. But hopefully Marsh can just handle it. Please don't have static. I think it can have static, right? But please don't. Okay. Try this again. It doesn't tend to work. So let's see. You don't have high jump kick, do you? Nope. No way you go for crunch if you have high jump kick, right? Doesn't matter, Lucky's faster. And you don't take this. You really don't take that. That health bar could not go down quickly enough. Just who was I cheering for? Oh, you know what? We're carefully not letting it take hits right now anyway, but there's no reason not to give the Eviolite to Shooty for the time being. And then to somebody else if Shooty evolves. Anyway. What's in here? Oh, more scientists. Probably the 2 least interesting scientists, but it's fine. Huh? 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 Oh, that one wasn't a question, sorry. That was a statement. Huh? Huh? I've seen this kid somewhere before. So who is he? I have no idea. But obviously he's not in Team Flare. Let's get him, yeah? Yep, that sounds good to me. Then I'll get at the first blow. Okay, they're kind of funny, actually. And they look ridiculous, but that's par for the course. I thought this was going to be a multi-battle, but nope. Fight them one at a time. Are they playing fair because I don't have Serena here? Because last time they were like, we'll take him on together, he'll never beat both of us at the same time. And then Serena showed up. This time she's not here, but they're battling me one-on-one. They really are just playing games with me. Okay. Thunderbolt main Ectric. Don't really have anything for that, do I? Let's see what Lucky can do. Because if I can poison this, or even paralyze it... No, I can't paralyze it, it's an electric type. If I can poison this... Okay, I think Lucky probably takes another Thunderbolt. Let's go for a Toxic. It's Prankster boosted, so even if we lose Lucky here, which I really hope we don't. Oh. Then we can still rack up damage on the main Ectric, can't we? Yeah, okay. Well, there's only one thing to do here. And that's drink milk, folks. Down the hatch. I'm actually almost out of milk. Okay, but we should take another Thunderbolt, so... we can get off a Night Slash here. Yep. And then... instead of milk this time, I'll use a Max Potion. There goes the main Ectric. Don't think I want Crab Hammer on a eventual Clawitzer, so... nope. And would you look at that? Well, I have Strength. Do you have an attack that's good into me? Oh, that's actually not good. And you do have X-Scissor. Well, this is going to be a bit of a slog. But unfortunately, I don't have a Steel type anymore, do I? Why are you doing so much more damage? They're both non-stab attacks, same base power, neutral, only one level difference. Acupressure. Hope she doesn't run away with... oh! Ah! That's not the stat I want to see boosted. Can you use that on me next, please? I didn't think that would KO after the boost. Got one relatively strong Pokemon left. We're gonna go for Frost Breath. It's a guaranteed crit into, I believe, this thing's weaker defense stat, but it doesn't matter because it one-shots, and it's gonna run through my whole team now. Go for Surf, and drop to Poison Jab. +2 Poison Jab, no less. Okay, so going for Surf didn't work, but now I have a different idea. We'll go for Surf and drop to +2 Poison Jab. Okay, that didn't work either, but one more idea. This might be the one. We'll go for Surf and drop to +2 Poison Jab. Yep, all according to plan. Alright, that's a wipe. Haven't wiped in a while. I feel a little bit hacked because the Acupressure boosted attack. And what should have been a close slog battle. Anyway, I have run out of Pokemon that are not gift and fixed encounter Pokemon. Shooty the Clauncher? Nope, you're done. Santa the Delibird? You're done. Marsh the Drapion? Goodbye. Sneaky the Horsey? Feel like I barely knew you. Lucky the Klefki, the encounter that I was so happy to get. Gone. And I'm going to have to withdraw some Pokemon before I can finish this off, because of course I wiped there. I sure did. The Pokemon that I really like because it's very cute, even though it's not that useful in battle, Smile the Mantike. Kept you going for a while there, but it wasn't to last. So, as far as banning fixed encounter and gift Pokemon goes, the Nuzlocke has failed. But, what did I say? If that happens, I legalize fixed encounter and gift Pokemon. So the team now is Elizabeth the Tyrant, Viney the Bulbasaur, Mr. Fuji the Snorlax, I almost said Mount Fuji, Hero the Lucario, and Fairy the Lapras. Actually looks like a pretty strong team once I get them some training, but yeah, I'm gonna have to grind. Off recording, of course. So we'll just pause this here. I'll give Viney the Venusaur right now so I don't forget. We are going to be able to start using Mega Evolution in this playthrough. But yeah. To the extent that this is a Nuzlocke with those kinds of encounters banned, it is failed. Doesn't feel great. But the point isn't the challenge. The point is to explore the games, revisit them ahead of the release of ZA. And we're now at the second stage of the playthrough, where that rule that I set is gone. So I'll do a bunch of grinding. Great, looking forward to that. Just kidding, I'm not, but is what it is. And we'll pick this episode back up after that. Grinding's done. Let's take a look at the team before we do anything else. And I don't think Lysandre knows what he's unleashed here by beating down my other Pokemon. We got Viney the Venusaur, now with Venoshock, Toxic, Leech Seed, and a Petal Blizzard. We'll stick to this few. And the ability to Mega Evolve, and coincidentally a Modest Nature. That's kind of nice. Mr. Fuji, the Snorlax, now has Body Slam, Yawn, Rollout, and Crunch. Elizabeth is now a Tyrantrum, with Rock Tomb, Earthquake, Crunch, and Dragon Claw. Hero the Lucario, who of course can also Mega Evolve, has Power Up Punch, Aura Sphere, Shadow Claw, and Bone Rush. And finally, we got Fairy the Lapras with Surf, Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, and Perish Song. I did a bunch of grinding in the Frost Cavern, by the way. That was the main spot that I did it. And I guess you can find wild Pokemon in the first room, at least on the upper level. I still never found any on the lower level. But yeah, I don't know what the deal with that is. Anyway. I also don't know what the deal is with this slow rollout of the Team Flare genocide. Lysandre did an announcement to the whole region, and I mean, I was fully out of Lumiose City for, in game time, hours. In real time, it's been days. And still no genocide yet. So I guess Lysandre's just kind of messing around. Maybe he is testing fate, like I said, but by all appearances, he has beaten me already. But of course, you viewers know better than that. Only other thing I'll say about the team is I did think about going and finding an Old Amber and training an Aerodactyl as the 5th team member right now, but I just didn't feel like it. If you don't know, you can get Aerodactyl in this game, and it's one of the few Mega Pokemon available before the post-game. I think you can find an Old Amber by smashing rocks in, what's it called? Glittering Cave? The one where I got the Tyrant fossil. I believe that's where you can get an Old Amber, and then you can get it revived in the same lab as the other fossils. Oh, but I'm not bothering with that. But I could use Mega Aerodactyl if I did. Anyway, like I said, it's been a few days, but I believe I'm due for a rematch with some scientists, whom I called the least interesting scientists in Team Flare. Guess they got me back for that, but now it's the rubber match. Huh? 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 You should see this kid somewhere before. Okay, that's rude. That's disrespectful. I didn't get past the first one last time, did I? So beating just one of them will be progress here. And I've got just the Pokemon to do it, I think. Let's go right for a Venoshock. I'm honestly not sure whether Petal Blizzard is a contact move, and I think Venoshock can have static. But also, Petal Lizard is physical. I have it because it replaced Razor Leaf. Not really an ideal special attack on Venusaur so far. I think there's an Energy Ball TM somewhere, maybe in the forest area before the 8th gym. We'll see. Anyway, Mega Venusaur, of course, has thick fat, so let's do another Venoshock. So that Flamethrower was not the play that she thought it was. Although I guess it's still better than an electric attack. Paralysis is pretty annoying. I'll give her that. But at least you can't burn me with Flamethrower now. I guess if she just gets full paras forever, that's not really better, but let's see. At least Manectric looks cool using Flamethrower. I'll give her that. Manectric is... It's not the most elaborate design, but it's a very cool looking Pokemon for what it is. They really nailed it with that one. And yet, I think a lot of people, including me, sleep on it a lot of the time. Of course, Mega Evolving in this game was helpful to it. I'm weighing whether I want to Leech Seed this. There's not really anybody I especially want to switch in, so I'll throw off a Leech Seed first, if I get to move. And then I'll probably switch to Hero. Okay, that's what? 3 out of 4 turns fully paralyzed? Anyway, I'll switch to Hero, because if she's going to use poison attacks, then getting my immunity in on that seems like a good idea. Also, Dark and Bug attacks aren't a problem either. Acupressure could be a problem. What's it going to do? Sharply boost attack. Is this what I lost to last time? I think it is, right? Oh my god, did I miss Bone Rush? I'm gonna go for oh my god, plus 4 attack? I'm gonna go for Aura Sphere. I don't want to miss again. And Team Flare, I mean, they're right back in form here. 2 straight attack boosts. Okay, yeah, 2 straight attack boosts, a bunch of full paras, and a Bone Rush dodge. I joke about them having Fade on their side, but it might be real. Maybe we can throw out everything I said about classism. Maybe that's actually okay in this Cosmos. Ah ha ha ha, you beat us good. Wow, we are so lame. See, she's being sarcastic even when I actually do beat her. She doesn't respect me after what happened earlier, and we're gonna have to see what we can do about that. Oh, what a brute. Look at poor I don't know how to say her name. Celostia? Anyway. Now we fight the green one. Oh, a Liepard. Scary. You know what? I showed one Mega Pokemon last battle. Let's just switch to Hero and bring the second Mega Pokemon out right away. About time we got some Mega Evolution in this playthrough. Even if it didn't happen under the best circumstances. I'll even go for a power-up punch, so I can set up on this, in case that's useful into our other Pokemon. One shots, nice. Of course, I didn't pay attention to... Well, I knew I was fighting opponents in the high 40s, but I didn't pay very much attention to opponents' levels. I just thought, I just went, level 50, that seems like a good grinding target, and did that. So if they're a little overstrong right now, at least I put the work in for it. They're still at lower levels than Cake was. Your ability flies in the face of all probability. Just what is the source of your power? I feel like I should be able to think of something funny to say to that, but I don't know. I'm tired. It's been a long day. What's this? Who would have thought a child like you could beat us both? You and your Pokemon were utterly in sync in that battle, and I know why. You're here for answers, aren't you? I suppose we're at your mercy. I will tell you what I know, at least. We've been using the electricity we stole from the power plant to get everything prepared for activating the ultimate weapon. But it's not like that's all we'll need to use it. Are you following me? We'll need energy absorbed from Pokemon to power the device. Yes! It's the stones on Route 10 that will steal that energy for us and power the ultimate weapon. In reality, those stones that line Route 10 are the graves of Pokemon. When the ultimate weapon was used to end that horrible war over 3,000 years ago... Okay, lore drop. It stole the lives of all those Pokemon. I actually think this is the first mention of the ultimate weapon so far, isn't it? I don't think Lysandre was very specific earlier when he talked about killing everyone. Maybe I'm forgetting. Anyway, their lives were the price of peace then. And if we want to make our own wishes come true today, we in Team Flare also have to sacrifice something precious. Pokemon. Of course, she means Pokemon. But you knew that. Stones in Route 10 normally put out energy, but when the ultimate weapon is activated, that reverses, they begin to absorb energy from Pokemon. Can this stone really be used to absorb a Pokemon's energy? I wonder what kind of tests they've been running on it. Computer doesn't tell me anything. Good business practices, at least, locking their computers when they're not at their desks. I'm gonna go heal, I think, because paralysis. I actually didn't really mean to go this way, but it's fine. Actually, no, I did. That is the way to the entrance. Never mind. Of course, we can use their nap room. Hello. I've run past her so many times now, and on different days, and she's still just standing there. And not even blocking the way like grunts sometimes do. I did have one other thought about what's taking these people so long. We met the masked heroes in this room. In fact, they're still standing right here. Maybe for the last few days or hours or whatever you want to call it, they've just been like sabotaging Team Flare's machines, moving people's suits so that they can't find them when they have to get into uniform, playing little pranks that slow down the operation. Maybe that's what's taking so long. That seems like a nice headcanon to have here. Lysandre defeated me, and I left vowing revenge. But someone else just kind of got in his way, just enough, while I was rebuilding. Anyway. Okay, so this one sent me the right way. What does this one do? That's a loop. Okay. And then the other one is what will get me to the room that I missed on my first playthrough. But that can be found if you know the post-game area here. Right? That'll get me to this warp. That'll get me to this warp. Get some black glasses. Do I have a dark type right now? I have a couple Pokemon with Crunch. But whatever. We in Team Flare burn with ambition. Okay. Actually sums it up pretty nicely. Anyway, I hope you like Generation 1 Pokemon, because here comes Venusaur. Oh. I hesitated between Venoshock and Petal Blizzard, and I split the difference and selected Leaf Seed. So I hope you really like Gen 1 starters, because we're going to drag this out a little bit. Now, we'll just Petal Blizzard next. Since we got the chip, might as well save Venoshock TP. Oh, that just deletes it anyway. And we'll switch out of this Toxicroak, because this Venusaur doesn't really have much for that. You know what? I don't have a switch in, though, either. Everything else on my team is weak to fighting, so actually we're going to Leech Seed this and wear it down. You know, that's something I hadn't noticed. I have Venusaur and 4 fighting weaknesses right now. I guess it's a good thing I picked Bulbasaur from Professor Sycamore. Charizard would have worked too, but of course it's Mega Charizard X in this game. I don't really remember why I picked Bulbasaur, and actually I think Mega Charizard X would be pretty cool to use in a playthrough like this right about now. But especially given the condition that I couldn't use it unless my original starter died. But maybe I wanted to vary the types a little bit, I don't know. I'm not unhappy to have a Venusaur. Blastoise would be cool too, I like Mega Blastoise. Although I think I like G-Max Blastoise more than Mega Blastoise. But they're both very good. Blastoise is a Pokemon that really lends itself well to super transformation designs. Anyway, there's your Gen 1 starter rant. We beat this grunt. I'll just keep Viney in front for now. Oh, you put out my fire. I'm nothing but cold ashes now. Okay. Couldn't happen to a nicer genocidal crook. Those who live life with a burning passion must eventually burn out and extinguish, right? Don't tell that to your boss. Your boss is, like, notoriously against that. Your boss would sooner end the world than see that happen. Anyway. See, it's the, well, it's the copy on a different floor of the room where we'll spend some time with Emma later. But I never found this one on my first playthrough. I must just not have tried that particular spin panel. Anyway, let's see what the research material says. Over the ages, people and Pokemon worked alongside one another and created many things. As a result of this, a leader appeared among the humans. That leader sought to produce even more goods. Increased production of goods created a gap between haves and have-nots. Hang on. Is this about Lysandre? The way it started, I thought it might be about like an old king of Kalos, but what's described there is Lysandre to a T. I guess making himself sound like a king is kind of on brand. Yeah, I think on one shelf they're all going to say the same thing, but I can go to another shelf, get some more research material. Also, if that was Lysandre propaganda, interesting to call it research material. I don't feel very educated after reading that. The mountains will never know one another, but people can encounter other people, and people and Pokemon mix together. I don't know what kind of research that is. Okay. I knew we were going to have to talk about this. I thought it was going to be when I met him, but it's going to be a little earlier. Actually, I meant to say it when I first saw the guy out in the Badlands, but I forgot. What is this guy's name? What are we going to call this guy? Like, I'm not American. To me, he's AZ, or he has been. Actually, the first time I played through, I totally missed that it was initials, and I just called him Az. But, yeah, I'm not American. The letter is called Z. But, the question is this a case like Dragon Ball Z or Jay-Z, where it's a proper noun, and even though the letter is called Z, it's pronounced Z in his name. That's just what his name is. Should I be calling him AZ? Or should I be calling him AZ? I'll probably finish recording the entire series before I see any answers to that. But give me an answer anyway. I'm curious for your thoughts. I'll probably stick with AZ, because that's what the letter is called. It's called Z. But I don't know. Nobody said... Well, okay. Nobody reasonable says JZ or Dragon Ball Z, because those aren't the names of those things. Anyway, full of sorrow, AZ built the ultimate weapon. When he did this, he left the following words. What's wrong with bringing something you love back into this world? Without my beloved Pokemon, no other Pokemon have any meaning. That's very, self-centered thinking? Feels a little harsh to say it, but it is. No Pokemon of any meaning, if subjectively the Pokemon he loved most is gone. I mean, I don't want to be too harsh on the guy, but... yeah. Anyway. When AZ, the man who was king, vanished, he took the key to the ultimate weapon. That is the item required to activate the weapon. Oh, I wonder whether we'll see AZ soon. The king was proud of the technology he had used to bring Kalos prosperity, but he couldn't help but use it in a way that had never been intended. AZ, the man who was king, disappeared. I wonder what order I'm supposed to read this in, if any. I mean, the way they're set up, I hope there's not supposed to be a particular order. The king's name was AZ. Well, maybe there's an order. And he was both the beginning and the end. He used technology unlike any seen during that era to unite Kalos for the first time. The king couldn't escape war with those who targeted a wealthy Kalos. The war grew so violent and ugly, the king was forced to send his own beloved Pokemon into battle. So the enemy in the war was definitely external to Kalos, right? It's implied there pretty strongly that it's a foreign invader. Interesting. I know there have been, like, fan projects, Fakemon projects and the like that have kind of explored what the artist thinks that the enemy in the war could have been. I found some of those very interesting, actually, but we certainly don't get any lore on it in the official games. Could be something for ZA to expand on. My guess is it probably won't, but it's a dangling thread for sure. AZ had a younger brother. It said he led a legion of greedy souls who wanted to seize the Kalos region. His dark intention was to make it his own. But when he saw how Kalos had been ravaged by the war, he took the weapon his brother had created and he buried that weapon deep underground. Huh. So the leader of the other side was the king's brother. But I really do get a pretty strong impression from the previous one that there was a foreign invader. So, I mean, in history, there have been times where someone on the less successful side of a royal family after that point went abroad and came back with foreign forces to take over. Maybe the implication is it was something like that. The king's younger brother told his progeny the location of the ultimate weapon and died. That is something to be used by sophisticated powers, not by humans. Human beings must create a world where such a weapon is unnecessary. Ah, okay. He told his descendants where it is, and it passed down the family line all the way to Lysandre. And Lysandre kind of missed the part about how humans shouldn't use it. Well, no, human beings must create a world where such a weapon is unnecessary. I think in Lysandre's view, he worked very hard to do that, and it went badly. And now he's jaded about it being doable. That's kind of sad. I wanted to look at a couple of these again. Hang on. Not this one. Going up here. Yeah, not that one. Yeah, I still don't know what kind of research this is. And then the first one we read. Over the ages, people and Pokemon worked alongside one another and created many things. As a result of this, a leader appeared among the humans. The leader sought to produce even more goods, increased production of goods, created a gap between haves and have-nots. That could be AZ. That could be referring to AZ. Because we know, from one of these memos, that he used technology never seen before to unite Kalos. It's very strongly implied that he brought in an age of prosperity, and then that led to division, and whatever exactly the specifics of the war, it led to war. Whether there was a civil war or like his brother went and recruited foreigners who were jealous of Kalos' prosperity and brought them in. Either way. I think that's probably the intention here. Like, this is probably can refer to AZ, but it's written in such a way that it also fits the way Lysandre describes himself. I guess that's what it is. It's research and propaganda. Lysandre is likening himself to AZ. Over the ages, people and Pokemon worked alongside one another and created many things. As a result of this, a leader appeared among the humans. King of Kalos. The leader sought to produce even more goods. Probably both did that. Gap between the haves and have-nots. Lysandre's kind of obsessed with that. And then what? He sees the have-nots as dragging Kalos down. I guess if we keep the AZ analogy going, he sees them as his enemy, to the point of being willing to kill them. He recruits haves. Again, it seems like the only criterion to join Team Flare is to have money. But apparently they're the worthy to survive in his new world. Of course, AZ kind of notoriously... Well, maybe it's not that well known in universe at this point that he regrets what he did. I mean, we have that memo, I think it's this one, that makes it sound like he didn't regret what he did. What is wrong with bringing something you love back into this world? So yeah, okay, Lysandre took all the wrong lessons from that. Okay, this actually expands a lot on Lysandre's character, and like I said, it's a room that I didn't find in my first playthrough. So, and even if you do find this room, maybe you just take the rare candy and you don't read, right? Who's to say the bookshelves even have anything worth reading on them? Many don't. Oh, there's a report on this desk. I just was doing that for the heck of it, to see what would happen. We'll read that in a second. I feel like Lysandre's character works so much better after reading these. I'll probably try to do proper character analysis of him for whatever the final part of this series will be, but... yeah, those research memos might be what a lot of us were missing when we first played through this game, and when Lysandre seemed like kind of a weird, disjointed kind of villain. Feels like a significant piece of the puzzle there. Let's see what this report says. When I was young, I went on a journey around Kalos with my Pokemon. I reached out to help those suffering because they had nothing. At first they were grateful, but eventually they began to take my help for granted and demand more and more. This is exactly what he says in... What is it? Is it the anime? I think so. Exactly his rationale. Will fools like those people consume the Kalos region? This world is stable and secure, so the population of people and Pokemon continues to increase unabated. There's the Malthusian side, but there is a limit to the amount of money and energy the world is capable of producing. Either everything is lost, or only a handful are saved. This is something best not left to man. I must use a tool of higher power. Okay, there's a piece missing still. Because, up to now, I've been saying that Lysandre can't accept that people have different views of what is right and good and beautiful in the world, and in particular, he can't accept that people embracing change. He wants to keep the region stable and consistent. That does come across in that report. And he doesn't understand people who value a kind of dynamism. A region that changes all the time, maybe waxes and wanes. Even an actress who plays a certain kind of role in her youth, and then a different kind of role in her older age. That's all well and good. But here we get to the Lysandre who also thinks that the world is inevitably doomed, not just because he can't accept change and can't accept a dynamic world, but, I mean, I keep throwing the word Malthusian around. Basically the idea is, well, it's basically what Thanos said in Infinity War, too. The population will get so large that they'll consume... that their consumption needs will be greater than what the planet can support, and the world will go to ruin, and we're all doomed because we'll run out of food and energy and whatnot. Here's where Lysandre starts to introduce that, too. I guess it all builds on... You know, I guess all the pieces build on each other. He sees a world divided into haves and have-nots. He kind of seems to think the have-nots are wrong to be that way. But in any case, he thinks that there's no getting rid of their condition. They're just always going to want more and more. They're never going to have enough. And they'll drag the world down with them if he doesn't get rid of them. Kind of a different spin on it from he can't accept change, but I guess both things are there, and they fit together, and they build on each other. But if you're playing through this game for the first time and you don't read any of this, then you fought a bunch of goofy grunts in suits who talk about how fashionable they are, and then Lysandre starts saying the end part of this, kind of out of nowhere. There are some clues that I think I've picked up on earlier going through this playthrough, but nothing that pieces it all together like this room. So I guess this room is supposed to be a fun Easter egg for players who are paying attention, but they put so much of his character into the reports in this room that it's probably fair to say that it doesn't really work unless you find and read these. So they overdid the Easter egg, I guess. I don't know, I have a deeper conclusion than that. Is this the same as the other one? Yeah. And so the last one is probably the same as well. Well, I'm glad I came in here. This has been exactly the kind of thing I wanted to see in this playthrough. And then, okay, the have-nots gratefully accepted his help, but then they began to take it for granted and demand more and more. So even if he doesn't think that the have-nots have a moral failing at first, he definitely gets there. And then he makes a team of people chosen to be the survivors. Those worthy of continuing to live in this world, and they're measured by the buy-in. They're people who aren't just taking from others all the time, they have means already to support themselves. I mean, it's pretty nasty politics, but kind of some familiar ideas there taken to extremes. And again, I think it doesn't hurt that Lysandre is descended from royalty and kind of thinks of himself as elite for that reason, which comes across in some of his earlier dialogue. The have-nots are fools. Something best not to man, left to man. I must use a tool of higher power. We know what that is, of course. This game is pretty old now. But of course, Lysandre isn't deferring to a higher power, he's using a tool. He still thinks he should call the shots. But we'll see what we can say to him about that. Anyway. That detour aside, one way left to go here. Honestly, I don't know if I should even call that a detour. That was kind of the point of the playthrough right there. But let's grab this hyper potion. I did a bunch of grinding, but I did not stock up on potions. Might not need them for a while, but we'll see. And let's fight this guy. No, really, I understand. It's only natural to be jealous of a suit as styling as mine. We dug deep into Lysandre's worldview, and now we're back into the styling suits. I like Team Flare. There are issues. We'll give Elizabeth some battle time here. There are issues. I don't know if I'd call them my favorite evil team. I'm honestly not ruling it out, but I like them. Even just on the level of silly grumps who talk about their style and suits. That part has always worked for me. I'm sure the opponent's levels will catch up at some point. Also, we'll get more encounters later, and I'll probably try to cycle those Pokemon into the team. Anyway, win or lose, style is all. In a suit like this, I've got standards to live up to. See, now that's an easier worldview to understand than Lysandre's. Not saying I endorse it, but it's not the worst, that's for sure. You really have to look good in a suit to be considered for Team Flare. I think I could manage that, but I'm not interested. Haha! It sure does feel good to let loose every once in a while. Spying on people's holocaster conversations gets boring pretty quickly, after all. Okay, I don't know why Team Flare would need to do that. I get why they... I get why they can, because Lysandre makes the holocaster. They're made in this lab that I'm raiding right now, but I don't really know how it serves Team Flare's goals to spy on everyone's phone calls. Guess it helps them get ahead of any significant resistance. Of course, along with having the media in their pocket to an extent. Anyway, once again, I don't have anything I want to switch in on a Toxicroak, so I'm just doing this. Nasty plot. That is not going to help you. Might even KO. It does. Another Pokemon? Yep, a Lifer. Okay. Well, just Petal Blizzard that too. Didn't even go for Fake Out. And it's gone. I should swap someone else to the front of the party soon. Maybe Hero. Well, Hero will be good against Lysandre, I think, in the remaining Lysandre battles. Anyway, here's Mabel. Did you remember her name? Oh! You're that kid from the Frost Cavern. On your lonesome this time? Yeah, because Trevor was so helpful last time. Yes. Ooh, that's cold. Colder than that cavern. Your Pokemon can't even count for anything? She got me. I can't believe it, she got me. I really can't handle these scientists, huh? We gathered data about all the trainers in the region through their holocaster, so we know all about you guys. Okay, sure. And you know how the Mega Ring is used to awaken a Pokemon's power, right? Just like how the ultimate weapon can max out a Pokemon's power. Heh. Looks like you and me are practically after the same thing, yeah? Okay. Oh, Houndour. Ooh. Very dangerous fire type facing my Venusaur here. What if I just go ahead and Mega Evolve? That's such a dangerous fire type now. I'm taking it seriously enough to use a special attack up. Flamethrower. That did so much. I might not be alone, but I think Mabel's about to be. What's her other Pokemon? Oh. Okay. I actually will swap to Hero for this. There's not really any need, but I can at least save some Venoshock PP. Oh, there's only one more battle in here, isn't there? And probably want to not lean on Venusaur against that guy. But oh well. We'll just Aura Sphere this out of the way and move on. Aura Sphere, I always thought was a very cool move. So, nice to be using it here. Ooh, you are strong. You and your Pokemon are most certainly not ordinary. Okay. Ding, ding, ding. Yep, you did it. With the victor goes the spoils. Here, an elevator key for you. Power of the legendary Pokemon. The power to grant life to all around it. It's a mysterious ability that even scientists like us haven't been able to really decode. I assume in why she's like, the power to take life from everything around it. What do you think will happen to the world if we fuel the ultimate weapon with something like that? I think I've seen people, I think most people get it, but I think I've seen people be confused sometimes because Team Flare is trying to take life independent of what game you're playing, independent of which legendary Pokemon you're using. But of course that's the answer. They're just big batteries to Team Flare. They're using Pokemon's life energy to power the machine, and both Xerneas and Yveltal have a lot of that. In fact, Xerneas even fits that role better because it generates a seemingly infinite amount of infinity energy. How about that? Anyway, here's our guy. Whatever exactly we should be calling him. And he says, listen, one who will face Lysandre. And here we go. I'm not going to talk over this. Had to show proper respect to that sequence, right? And, okay, I promise I'm not missing the point, but that one bit of art of the Pokemon at war, the Floette in the middle of the battle, really something to look at. I really, my eyes linger on that one every time. Story-wise, I talked about Lysandre taking the wrong lesson. AZ... So AZ, I've used the garden metaphor before, and I've talked about AZ's flower Pokemon. AZ lost something beautiful and precious and valuable to him, and it drove him to extreme measures. And he's not treated as a villain in the game. I mean, he regrets and repents, but on a human level, we can kind of understand. I'm not saying he was right to create the ultimate weapon, but there's room for empathy there. Lysandre sees this guy losing that which is precious to him and turning to mass destruction, and seems to think that's good. But of course we know, because it was right there in the story, but Lysandre doesn't listen to people with different views, AZ didn't get what he wanted. That which was precious to him didn't come back. Or, I mean, it did, but it didn't stick around. Partly because of the extreme lengths that he went to bring it back. It wasn't right. The Floette's been gone ever since, and he spent 3,000 years living with the regrets. But Lysandre says, never mind that. What that guy did is my inspiration. AZ now says, get the key back. He doesn't have that key that he was wearing anymore. I wonder where it went. It should not be used. Everything will vanish again. Like I said, not justifying what he did back then. Just empathizing a little bit. But also, he's learned his lesson. It didn't work out the way he wanted. And it shouldn't have. A certain someone here is not listening to that lesson. If you want to know unending pain, like I have, apparently Lysandre does. Let's see what he has to say. That is AZ. He has the same name as a king that lived 3,000 years ago. You don't say! And for some unknown reason, he had the key to the ultimate weapon hung around his neck. I don't know if Lysandre is messing with me, or he literally hasn't listened to a word that AZ has said. Lysandre doesn't really seem capable of that kind of sarcasm. So... I'm full cartoon villain here. It's finally time. Follow me to my chambers. Anyway. That was a powerful montage there, my friend. Get the key back. I will do what I can. Unending pain does not sound good to me. And now, of course, I can access a floor that I couldn't before. Because Lysandre is just gonna, to some extent, let me do what I want in here. Anyway, this is a weird-looking room. So the Pokeballs we received and the Pokemon we've gathered are where they need to be. Add it all up, and it means all preparations are complete. The only thing left to do is put the plan in motion. I'm counting on you. And here's the one scientist we haven't met before. One push of a button and we can activate the ultimate weapon from this room. I believe being a chosen one means you have the potential to change the future. Whether we activate the ultimate weapon or leave it safely underground will rest upon if you actually have this potential or not. Okay. Stay tuned for more on that, but... I guess that confirms Lysandre actually was kind of playing games with us and testing fate. Gone pretty well for him so far. Well, let's see what we can do about Mr. Oh-Ho-Ho here. You're the one I've heard so much about. I've been waiting for you. I need to do a little research on you. Come, let us begin. I think this might be the last guy I want researching me. Anyway. We're not going to leave a Venusaur in on this. I guess we'll go to Elizabeth. Elizabeth should be able to handle this guy. I think. Tyrantrum was on my original in-game team in this game, so it's kind of fun to use one again. And he gets the Steel Wing defense boost. I think Team Flare might be actual chosen ones, but we'll see. There goes the Crobat. That defense boost really didn't make any difference. All style, no substance, like a Team Flare grunt, am I right? I'm a little worried that this Malamar might have superpower, but we'll just take our chances. Dragon Claw's 2 KO. It does have superpower. Oh man, you know what else I have here besides the ground weaknesses? I have an awful lot of fighting weaknesses, don't I? But I think I can go Viney, Mega Evolve, and take it out with Venoshock. Obviously I'm vulnerable to Psychic Attack there, but I don't think it'll come to that. By the way, one thing that I ran into when I was grinding, I forgot to mention it. Of course, in Generation 6, unlike Gen 7, speed order isn't dynamic like it is, or turn order isn't dynamic like it is in later games. A change to your speed stat within a turn doesn't take effect until the next turn. And I really was getting into situations with my Mega Pokemon when I was grinding, where they would Mega Evolve and still be slower than a wild Pokemon, and then be faster on the next turn. Which is a very kind of weird, unique Gen 6 thing there. Of course, it's the reason that in Smogon formats, Pokemon like Beedrill and Diancie would run Protect, even though Protect is pretty rare in single battle formats, because they would Protect on the turn they Mega Evolved, and then their speed buff would kick in the next turn. I think it was a very good change, the dynamic move order. I think it intuitively makes more sense, but yeah, interesting Gen 6 quirk there with Mega Evolution. Anyway, oh ho ho, you're wonderful, your Pokemon are amazing. Yeah, ground types and fighting types are kind of dangerous right now, huh? Wait, I didn't even talk about ground types earlier. Ground types are fine, it's just 2 weaknesses, and I'm a Lapras. It's the same thing as earlier, I just have 4 fighting weaknesses. I got mixed up. Tell me in the comments that I got mixed up. Wonderful. Amazing. You have tremendous skill and bravery. When you add that up, it means I will tell you something very interesting. It happened 3,000 years ago. I know! The ultimate weapon was used to put an end to the war in an instant. I know! If we use that incredible power, we can finally free Kalos of the foolish humans that plague it. Have-nots, huh? Behind me, you'll find a red button and a blue button. One of those is the button for activating the ultimate weapon. Push one now! Come on, push one! So this is what Lysandre set up for me. I mean, this was a pretty easy choice on my first playthrough. Xerneas is the Pokemon of life, it's blue. Yveltal is the Pokemon of death, or destruction if you will, it's red. Also, I'm playing X, it's the Xerneas game. So of course I hit the blue one. You pressed it? Oh ho ho. You pressed the blue switch. Winner winner. Congratulations. But I'm still going to activate the ultimate weapon. This guy is not on board with Lysandre's fate testing. I know the boss promised that we wouldn't if you push the correct button, but I refuse to let the potential go to waste. I'll just use my remote here. Click, click, and the power is on. Future is now, thanks to science. Come on, look at the monitor. I think if you push the red one, he does just say, "Ha, you activated it, you idiot," right? But yeah, I don't know what Lysandre would do if he were still here. If that other guy is having none of this. Actually picking the right button business. It is kind of funny, though, that there is a right button at all, and the game does let you pick it. But this is what happens. Oh, what a time to lag. There's our ultimate weapon. Knock some houses over. That's not really ever addressed again. And got all the rocks off it. Time to open up. Oh, there's that mysterious structure in the background where that Team Flare grunt disappeared to earlier. And a big round blue core piece, which I believe is pointier in red, and why. so powerful that it's lifting rocks off the ground as it opens, only to settle into place with a bunch of conspicuous giant wires dangling from it and drop the rocks to the ground. Look at that, though. One of those buildings survived. But there aren't people in the other ones. But, like I said, never addressed. I think. Did you see? The ultimate weapon is reborn. The poisonous flower has bloomed. All shall perish, except for Team Flare. Look at Geosenge. It has bloomed in Geosenge town. The boss's dream of creating a beautiful world will come true. Add it all up and it equals a victory for our science! Okay. Some of these Team Flare guys could probably make a living as, like, poets or some other kind of writers hanging out in the cafes of Lumiose City. Poisonous flower has bloomed is not a bad start. But they have to be like this instead. And we're back in Lumiose City and everything is nice and peaceful, and listen to that music. Everything's good, nothing bad happening in this region. Heal the Pokemon real quick and go deal with the bad thing that's happening in this region. I stocked up on Ultra Balls already. I'm confident that I remember that. None of the Pokemon on this current team can use Fly. We're gonna make a nice little trek on foot. That's okay. Fly is luxury. And we can pass through a lot of areas that we've visited before. Think of how we've grown since we were going through them, and psychic types were dropping like flies. Remember that part of the run? I will use Repels, though. Don't want to deal with that nonsense right now. But yeah, you wouldn't know that anything is going wrong in this region. And of course, we're pretty far from where the things are going wrong, but Lysandre did announce to the entire region over the holocaster that he's going to kill everyone. Sorry. Excuse me. Wouldn't want to level baseless accusations. That he's going to kill almost everyone. But hey, look at that river. And that night sky. And those trees. Nothing bad could be happening, right? Good thing we open up the shortcuts here. Good thing I already got that one item and I'm not tempted to try again. That was a whole arc. And oh, what's going on? Team Flare grunts are blocking the way again. Just what kind of technology did they have 3,000 years ago? What secret do the stones contain? Why are they able to absorb energy? I still don't have any regrets about joining Team Flare. So yeah, they're not going to let us through here. I did know that already. I've come this way intentionally. We don't get to see them strapping Pokemon up to the stones. They got tight security around that. And I guess it means Game Freak don't have to create a visual for it. But that is what they're doing. They're getting ready to mass kill a bunch of Pokemon. Xerneas is one thing, but we know they've been gathering strong Pokemon from all over. And they're strapping them up to those stones right now so that they'll come out looking like those Obama Snow and Rhydon in that AZ montage. We don't get to see it because, once again, Team Flare grunts just to get to just stand in the way, and there's nothing we can do about it. We don't even battle these guys. Like, sometimes we've beaten grunts in a battle, and they stood there blocking the way. These guys, they know how to deal with a child interfering with their plans. No need to battle. What's he gonna do? Push us? Anyway. We'll have to go around the other way. Like I said, I knew that. I just wanted to say hi to those guys. And of course that means cutting back through Lumiose City. Where it's still going to look like nothing is wrong. People have their heads in the sand. Just like the chosen hero Lysandre always said. Get that river view again. Back through here. Remember this town? That was a while ago. Remember how done Shauna was with everything to do with that Poke Flute guy? That was funny. Shauna's a funny character. Talk more about her at some point. Honestly, I think I'm gonna end the series going to bat for Shauna way more than I thought I would, and I knew I would some. Shauna is not a bad character. And actually, we'll see her soon, won't we? But we'll go, unfortunately, through the Badlands. The route I least want to revisit in this region, but it is the way to where we're going. So, we'll live with that. If I have to pass through a route that I find annoying to save the region, you know, maybe I don't want to save the region that badly. I have to pass through a route that I find annoying, but okay, fine. Let's see if repels do anything here. I don't know if they do, with the way these weird encounters work. I actually don't think I've ever tested that. Huh, I guess they do. And actually, you know what? Maybe I have tested that before. Although there still were wild Pokemon moving around. Actually, I don't know if the repels did anything there. Can anyone help me? I'm not as good as a Team Flare scientist. That experiment is inconclusive. But hey, we get to ride the monorail again. You know we'd do that? We can see that TM person. Maybe we can finally get that acrobatics TM. I don't really have a use for it right now, but maybe I'll catch like a... Oh, I've gone the wrong way for that. Maybe I'll catch like a Gligar or something. I got Gligar late in this game? I think so. Embargo? I think she's given me everything except acrobatics now. But hey, might come through here one more time. Actually, probably not. We probably just don't get an acrobatics TM. But I just have to live without it. Isn't there something free here? Yeah, Rostberry. Oh. I meant to give a tip. Oh well. I'll never know it was me. To stock up on repels soon. I have been using them a little more generously than I normally would, just in this section. No time to ride goats right now. That's the real tragedy here. And hey, we do get to see the unique Lapras surf model. I've only surfed on other Pokemon so far, haven't I? Lapras? Kind of the Pokemon that invented surf. Gets special treatment. Seems fair to me. No, Mega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. What is it? I think Wailmer, Sharpedo, and Kyogre get unique surf models. And Sharpedo is faster than the others. I think Kyogre might be faster than standard, but not as fast as Sharpedo. But I remember surfing. I remember zooming around on Sharpedo in those games. I was a little iffy to teach surf to my Kyogre when it got Origin Pulse in this generation. But just carrying a Sharpedo around for HMs? No problem. probably never use that citrus berry, but now I have it. And we've reached Geosenge town. Sounds a little eerier than it did before. Can I call Phil the photo guy? He's just gonna take a photo of this? Oh, okay. I thought maybe I'd get it. Well, I do have a toppled house in the background, but I thought it'd be more central considering where the photo spot was. But yeah. Perfect timing. Yeah, let's just have fun taking photos while the world is ending. Probably should have tipped it more if the world is ending. Anyway, can we go see the strapped up, can we go see what they're doing with the stones? Nope, this time there are 4 people standing in the way instead of 3. Even more powerful. So the ultimate weapon can only be powered with the life energy of Pokemon. Nope, I can't hear them. I won't listen to the Pokemon's cries. Well, that's dark. The whole thing is, I guess. The mysterious stone is absorbing energy. I can't let you on this point. A kid like you shouldn't be exposed to such sights. Anyway, they know what they're doing. Can't take too much pity on them, huh? Yeah, this Pokemon orb is fine for now. Here's the ultimate weapon. Still looking pretty impressive. Shame about, you know, what it is. Oh, there's a grunt here too. Where was your hideout again? Was it in a boulder? I bought a new life for 5 million money. Uh-huh. Wonder what the subtext of that is. Wonder what she's thinking. Anyway, trying to get a look at the core there, but whatever, we've seen it. Let's stop messing around and fight. You better have come prepared, both you and your Pokemon. Bro, what do you think? Oh, magnificent. Scary Pokemon. It's very cool looking. I accidentally selected Leech Seed again. That's fine. Roar. Okay. We'll give somebody else a chance to do some battling. Elizabeth it is. Still haven't used Mr. Fuji or Fairy yet, have I? That's okay. I'm gonna throw off an Earthquake here. If we don't get flinched. Okay. I thought for sure we'd get flinched. The way the team player fights have been going. Maybe, Destiny has started to turn around. Alright, well, it was fun to give Elizabeth some battle time, but we'll switch right on back to Binding now. Only Pokemon on the team not weak to fighting. Yep, that's who I want taking that high jump kick, alright. You can have this Venoshock that I meant to use on the Manectric. Yeah, another one of those should do the job, I think. And then what do you have in the back? Alright, we'll go right back to Elizabeth. Yeah, call it a team effort. The tree looked weirdly flat when the background shifted, or when the perspective shifted. Did you notice that? That tree could not have looked much more two-dimensional. Oh well. Yeah, I'll take Solar Beam over Petal Blizzard. I'm down. Still kind of hoping to get Energy Ball, though. Behold the moment of my defeat. Don't even think about blinking. Okay. I think I'm just going to keep Viney in front through this whole Team Flare sequence. Should be useful against Lysandre and certain someone else. Lysandre does whatever he can to help us realize our goals. Surely he deserves respect for that. Not your goals I'm worried about. When I was in Lysandre's lab, the masked heroes told me what is going on. They also... Wait, when was Serena there? Maybe she was doing sabotage too, while I was gone. They also told me what Team Flare plans to do with the ultimate weapon. Come on, let's stop Team Flare. No, we have to stop Lysandre himself. The world isn't corrupt enough to give up on yet. Yeah, we are getting a bit of a shift from... Is it bad when the world changes to... Is the world irredeemably corrupt? Like I said, I think the pieces fit together. If you've read the right stuff, but... It is maybe not the smoothest execution of this arc. It was 3,000 years ago, the ultimate weapon was used, and many Pokemon lost their lives. Pokemon attached to the stones on Route 10 are an energy source for using the ultimate weapon. Yeah. I got you. Don't learn anything from this. Nothing interactable here. I'll leave my fate to Lysandre, but I'm worried about tomorrow. I've been saved by Lysandre's support. Wonder what that means. That guy had money. Or someone willing to pay money for him. Wonder what some of these people were doing with their lives before they joined. I guess it's pretty typical for an evil team to recruit kind of lost people struggling in society. It's especially kind of a theme for Team Skull. Although they're... I always feel kind of bad calling Team Skull an evil team. They're not really evil. But it's kind of their whole thing, that they are made up of misfits and outcasts. But I guess every team has some of that. Could be cool if we ever got the backstory of a Team Flare grunt. It seems like the kind of in-depth storytelling that Pokemon wouldn't do. But I do kind of wonder what's led some of these characters here. Absorbing energy from the mysterious tree. But that's it. There isn't a Pokemon anywhere near here. Well, we already know that the legendary Pokemon Xerneas can turn into a tree, right? If we read our lore, we know that. So, no points for guessing. I've talked to her already, right? Yeah. No points for guessing what higher power Lysandre is drawing on here. Everyone in the whole world must be happy before any one person can be happy. Alright, this person spends too much time on Twitter. But the world is too big, and there are too many people at Pokemon, so there isn't enough happiness to go around. Yeah, we've really taken a hard pivot into this stuff. I do find it a little less jarring now than I did on my first playthrough. Maybe because I'm expecting it, though. I'm still jarred a little bit. Something's still missing, I think. I said I appreciate Team Flare and Lysandre a little more on this playthrough, but I don't think they're entirely redeemed. I don't think paying more attention has fixed everything. All systems are go for the ultimate weapon. All we have to do is charge it using every bit of that thing's power. I wonder what that thing could be. Could it be a tree? A mysterious tree? Anyway, speaking of Lysandre, let's go say hi. There's the tree. The ultimate weapon's flower has finally bloomed above the soil. I saw hour there and thought the word was power for a second. Don't you find its beauty captivating? Honestly, kind of. As we speak, it draws its energy from the legendary Pokemon. X! I apologize that the weapon was unearthed even after you chose correctly in the lab, but conflicting egos drive this world. Things don't always go the way you want. Okay, so that answers what Lysandre would have done if he had still been there. Nobody's stopping his ego. He's admitting it right here. We're not going to let you use the ultimate weapon. Even though resources, space, and energy on this planet are limited, the number of people and Pokemon has increased to an unsustainable level. I guess also tying in with the elitism thing and with Lysandre's unstoppable ego. I made a reference to Thanos earlier, but of course Thanos talked about random genocide. Lysandre has decided who he thinks are the people to save, and needless, it goes without saying that he's at the front of that. Of course he's worthy. Who could question? Whether it's money or energy, the ones who steal are the ones who win in this world. How do we know he's worthy? Because he's rich and descended from royalty and I guess was a philanthropist at some point. But that doesn't give you the right to destroy everyone but the ones Team Flare chooses. So tell me, the Mega Ring. Did you share it? Ooh, he got us. Not really. I mean, we could have. But we had a friendly competition and the winner got the Mega Ring and both of us were fine with that. Imagine that, Lysandre. We found a beautiful solution to an imperfect situation. Imagine that. That's different. We competed for it, but is all that the game dialogue will get of that idea. When there's only one of something, it can't be shared. Yeah, but Serena just went in a different direction, and whatever. When something can't be shared, it will be fought over. And when something is fought over, some must survive without it. Yes. The only way to create a world where people live in beauty, a world without conflict or theft, is to reduce the number of living things. What about Pokemon? Here we go. Dot, dot, dot. He's crying. Tears? Why? Pokemon. Now no longer exist. Pokemon are wonderful beings. Humans have worked with Pokemon and we have helped each other flourish. But precisely because of that, they will inevitably become tools of war and theft. Enough of this. You want to stop the ultimate weapon, and I refuse to do so. I will keep you busy for just a moment. We want conflicting things, so we have to fight. Second Lysandre battle of 3, tightly packed together. Probably could have just had 1 or 2. He's evolved this thing now. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if I should take that analogy even this seriously. But Serena and I competed over the Mega Ring. One of us won. It's okay, we agreed on the terms. And the other one moved on and took a different path with her training. And everything was fine. Not that every situation always turns out like that, but... I'm gonna lose Viney here. I should not have clicked Solar Beam. I was thinking about the story and not the battle. Well, nice knowing you, Viney. Now the whole team's weak to fighting. And I can't Mega Evolve. I definitely meant to Mega Evolve Hero. Why did I do that? Am I just gonna lose now? I'll throw Mr. Fuji at this, partly because he's the most expendable. Maybe I can paralyze it if it doesn't have Limber. Yeah, Swords Dance, though. Also could have gone for Yawn. Anyway. Thinking. Yeah, Lysandre doesn't see a world where that can happen. If he doesn't get what he wants, the world is wrong. No adapting. Anyway, look at Mr. Fuji go. I was fully prepared to sack him there, but nope. Here's a Gyarados. What do I have for this? I have a Lapras with Thunderbolt. Odds he uses Stone Edge. We're just assuming he has Stone Edge, right? Aqua Tail's fine. Outrage. Probably also fine. Oh yeah. Wow. Took a Thunderbolt. I know, we're getting the Paras. Goodbye, Gyarados. I know that Mienshao typically has acrobatics. Often has acrobatics. I just got cocky. There was no good reason for that. And you know what? My world became a little less beautiful because I lost Viney in such a stupid way. But otherwise this battle's going pretty well. He's evolved his Murkrow too. But got something for that. Also, when I said someone else earlier, when I said that, so I said that Viney would be good against Lysandre, exactly what I had in mind is that it was my one fighting resist. I said it would be good against someone else, I meant that I could weaken Xerneas with Leech Seed. Don't know what the plan is now. Figure it out. Xerneas is not that hard to catch. Strength to protect, huh? But what are you really protecting? A tomorrow that will only end up being worse than today? You're as strong as ever, but it's too late. There's no hope for you now. I like by the way how the camera perspective is conspicuously showing us that door off to the side to make sure we know where to go. Anyway, go down to the lowest floor and see for yourself. It's not over yet. Big X. Let's look for the legendary Pokemon. Trainers are protected by Pokemon, but they protect Pokemon too, right? Look, you can see the entrance to the lower floors over there. Okay, I got one thing to do first. Wait here, Serena. I got one thing to do. Got one thing to do. Very important. Viney, I'm sorry, that was really dumb of me. But you're the one who died for it. Goodbye. 4 Pokemon left. I'll swap my other Mega Evolving Pokemon with the lead spot. We'll lead Hero for now. Might as well heal while I'm here. Not really much need, but I'm here. Also, I'll check whether these NPCs have any reaction to the crazy stuff that's gone on in this town. I didn't check that yet. That thing was under us the whole time? What caused it to come up from underground? Okay, guess they are reacting. You see that thing come up from inside the ground? Crazy. The payback move doubles in power. The thing came from the ground. That's so scary. Did you see that thing? The payback move doubles in power if it goes after its target makes its move. So one-track mind right there. Is there another grunt over here that I missed earlier? Blocking this building? Only Team Flare is staying alive. Staying alive. Alright, some of these grunts are taking this more seriously than others. Some of these grunts are definitely more serious people than others. I can see why some of them needed Lysandre's support to get by. Even though they're rich. Or they have someone rich helping them, who knows. Lysandre is someone rich. But I doubt he's paying Team Flare membership fees for others. In fact, I doubt he's paying Team Flare membership fees at all. Thanks for waiting, Serena. Hi, Lysandre. What's up? Okay. Anything over here? Didn't think so. There are 3 other doors, but only one ever opens. Classic Pokemon. Let's hurry! Yeah, we got this this multi-battle gauntlet over here. We're going to actually turn back. The legendary Pokemon is at the end of this chamber, after all. Why did you tell them that? Who would even do something like that? I didn't remember that line coming in here, but as soon as they started to say it, I was like, oh, it's these guys. I love that. So many grunts have done that in so many games. The legendary Pokemon is at the end of this. And this time somebody's called on it. Why would you say that? I'm gonna Bone Rush the Toxicroak, because it's a bigger threat than the Liepard. I think that outweighs setting up the Power-Up Punch. We got a classic combination of dog and cat on our side here. Only 2 hits! I could have just gone for Power-Up Punch. Or even Aura Sphere into the Liepard. Let's Aura Sphere it next turn. Heal Pulse. That's not going to be very useful. It might conceivably be useful sometime, but I don't think it's worth carrying. Serena's Pokemon somehow just bounce back from death. We'll see that Neo Stick again. I don't know how they do it. Anyway, hold this. Thank you. Fools, you don't even have suits. You might be strong, but your teamwork is still a bit lacking. Kinda true, actually. We could have just gotten rid of both their Pokemon in one turn. That's right, the legendary Pokemon is deep within our secret headquarters. Searching Kalos' mountains for legendary Pokemon was backbreaking work. All the dirt completely wrecked my nice white suit. I do kind of wish that we could see where they searched in the mountains and where they found it. Even if, like, Serena just mentioned that Lysandre's methods are insane, even though he has a point. Even if it were like the tank in Let's Go where Mewtwo was made, if we could just find the spot where they found Xerneas/Yveltal and recognize it as such, that'd be kind of neat. Even if things are just as we heard, I can't believe they're sending smart guys like us to run off some little Rattata that wandered in. Trainers moving on to the next level will be Team Flare. Alright. This time I'll just start throwing around Aura Spheres. No messing around. Especially since this Mightyena actually has Intimidate. Kinda rare in this game. It always stands out to me when they don't, because like I said, I played Gen 3 a bunch of times with every Mightyena having Intimidate, because that was its only ability then. The first time I played through X, and most of the Mightyena that Team Flare was throwing at me didn't have Intimidate. It felt weird every time. But I've talked about that before. Roar. Alright, who do you want to face instead? I'll give it a go. Yeah, that's fine. Volpera? Nope. Right into that special defense drop. Let's go. Lysandre is the one who will take care of things. Lysandre will take care of everything. The leader is good, the leader is great. We surrender our will as of this date. I don't want to run back or mess around with paralysis. Do I have something? Don't have anything for paralysis, apparently. I thought I had a full... Well, I have a full restore, but I don't want to use that. Oh, I do have a full heal. One full heal. Seems like a fine time for it. Big X, Serena. I don't believe it. What are you doing here? I'm sorry. I know. I'm just going to slow you down. But friends should stick together. Huh? I'm the one who should be apologizing. You came all the way out here and I wasn't very considerate of your feelings. You are right. Friends should stick together. Big X, we should all go together, right? Yeah, absolutely. Of course. I knew you'd agree. Okay, Shauna, Big X, and I will go ahead. Stay close to us, okay? Okay, thank you. Look at Shauna. The least heroic... Well, okay, that's mean. Least battle-oriented of all of us. Stepping up to join the fight. Even as she doubts herself. She wants to do her part. Shauna's a good character. Anyway. Who's got that flare? Team Flare. Yeah, we've got that flare. Team Flare. Okay, so not a great matchup for Lucario, but also there's nobody I want to switch in. I'm gonna try to get rid of the Houndoom first, and then try to get rid of the Scrap. Hope for the best. Maybe I should have gotten an Aerodactyl after all, huh? Ah, if I'd known which one she'd fake out, I would have targeted the other one. Unfortunately, our teamwork is lacking. What's Scrafty gonna do? Scary face into Lucario. I was kind of hoping it would be into Meowstic, but let's see how this turn goes. Disarming Voice, it's a very type attack, double weakness. Doesn't even do half. Single target, yikes. But we're still faster. Goodbye, Scrafty. Got a little worried there, but all for nothing in the end. Watch this guy punch his head a few times. Lysandre is like the sun to us. He represents our hope. I don't know what this grunt's talking about. But Lysandre is Luffy now, huh? Let me tell you, Luffy would not do any of this. Okay, who's got that flare? Team Flare. Lysandre showed us how to get to his certain future. What about an uncertain future? Yeah. Yeah, there are way more political nuggets in this story than I remembered. Maybe I'll leave that thought there for now. Probably come back to it at some point. It's an electronic lock. What should we do? Well, time for Shauna to do her part. This might help. Not great at battling, but she has a device that helps you when you're stuck on a puzzle that she got from her friend Clement. An electronic lock and a puzzle are the same sort of thing, right? See? Oh yeah, ta-da! The lock opened. Oh! And the device actually broke. Amazing, Shauna. You and Clement's device are both full of surprises. So, we're finally here. The legendary Pokemon is inside. Let's go help it. Let's go. Look at that mysterious tree. Yeah, Lysandre can't handle a dynamic region where things are changing and growing and ungrowing. It's an uncertain future. Team Flare can't stand that, huh? But it's kind of just how the world is. We're gonna go ahead and remind him of that. Right now we're in the deepest part of the headquarters and it's somehow hard to breathe in here. Hey, is that thing that looks like a tree the legendary Pokemon? It doesn't even look like it's alive. I added the word even there. It doesn't look like it's alive, but... And then these people appear out of nowhere. None of your business, kids. What do you think they did? Did they teleport in? The ultimate weapon has taken 99% of the legendary Pokemon's energy, but just to make double sure nothing goes wrong, let's take these runts out. Shauna immediately, no, I hate being chased. Guy goes running after. Oh, Shauna, this again? X, you take care of things here. I'll protect Shauna. Make sure you take care of those runts that ran away. I should... Blah, 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 blah. It was a pretty simple tactic, but it managed to split us up. That girl's pretty good, see? And it's the same thing that she did in Lavera Town at the Pokeball Factory to lure that one guard away. It was not quite as effective here, because she didn't lure all of them. In fact, not even half. And she needs Serena to bail her out. What happens if I go this way? Wait, can I actually see what's going on, or is there just going to be no sign of them? Anyway. Oh, hello. Oh no, you're the people I beat earlier. Anyway. Yeah. Shauna remembers that one very effective trick. Shauna found the perfect counter. They're gone. Wow. Shauna found the perfect counter to the Team Flare just stand there blocking the way and there's nothing they can do about it move. And she brought it out again here. And sold it really well too. Guess that's why they need that Team Flare admin to lampshade that Shauna really was doing a tactic. Good for her. Alright, we'll fight these 4. And then a giant deer. And then a weird angry guy. Do you actually think that all living things can be truly happy? I'm not humoring that question at this point in this adventure. You guys just have to be done with. I'll go for the +1 bone rush and hope I don't get paralyzed. I'll be really annoyed if I get paralyzed though. Okay, good. And the way things have gone against Team Flare, that main trick definitely didn't have static. That's the only way. You don't even try to understand Lysandre and all he suffers for. Honestly, I'm surprised I haven't been burned by a lightning rod. Or, burned. I haven't been paralyzed by a lightning rod main trick yet. The way this is going. The ultimate weapon is stealing the legendary Pokemon's power. Yeah, I know. Like, 5 people have told me that. Cool, swallow. Bone rush fist. And hope we don't get paralyzed by body slam. If Hero gets paralyzed, I'm sorry, I'm running back to the Pokemon Center. No deal. Only 2 hits again. That seems to be happening a lot. Not that I'm keeping track of, you know, whether or not I'm getting hacks. Should I switch to Shadow Claw for the accuracy and crit rate? Yeah, maybe. Well, its stockpile boosts are gone. Let's try another Bone Rush. I think a 2-hit should do it now. Yeah. Taking all of the legendary Pokemon's life force is an unfortunate necessity to realize our goals. Okay, this is getting old. What do you want to talk about? Taking all of the money and stuff for ourselves will make a world where Team Flare is happy. There's probably money and stuff, like money and property, including personal effects, but yeah, I like the way I read it there. Yeah, taking all the money and stuff, you know, stuff. Set up on this Mightyena. Unless it survives and uses Roar. But at least I don't think this has a way to paralyze. In fact, it doesn't have a way to do much at all. Oh, a Houndoom. If you can just Aura Sphere that. Doesn't use the Power Punch boost, but I'm not going for Bone Rush right now. Bonk, 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 bonk. Are you trying to stop Team Flare from obtaining happiness? What a vile person you are. No, you're right. I care about your happiness specifically and nothing else. Not having a ton of money is really stressful. How would you know? You're in Team Flare. I guess because you spent it all on that suit. You guys think we'll let you join Team Flare after all this? You got another think coming. You know what? I remember that guy too. That is the silliest thing to say when you're the very last Team Flare doofus I'm fighting. Like, I'm this far in, but yeah, that's right, I want to join. Let's Mega Evolve and Shadow Claw this. It'd be nice to teach Psychic to Hero, but I guess I don't have that TM. I don't think I know where to get it in this game. hit, though. Whoa, that did more damage than I'm comfy with. But I think Shadow Claw will KO. I rested all on that. Yeah. But I was thinking about a switch there, you probably heard. And actually, I'm going to swap... well, I'll... No way! This puts the no in no way. Contact Lysandre, call for reinforcements. I'll give Hero some milk. That's actually my last bottle of Moo Moo milk. Goodbye. And I'm gonna swap Mr. Fuji to the front for Xerneas because I can try to paralyze it with Body Slam or put it to sleep with Yawn. That'll help with catching it. Ready? Let's go. Ow! That was dramatic. And technically we saw Xerneas do a form change there. I've never really gotten the point of Xerneas having an out-of-battle form that kind of counts as a different form and just doesn't look nearly as cool. Maybe there's a good reason they did that. Doesn't really do anything for me. Look at this battle background. I have to imagine it looks very different for Yveltal, and I think I have seen it, but I can't think right now of what it looks like. Honestly, I might look it up on YouTube after I finish recording. Xerneas, of course, looking majestic with those colorful horns and whatnot. I like Yveltal a lot. I would say Yveltal is one of my favorite legendary Pokemon. But I said at the beginning, I picked X because I was kind of captivated by Xerneas. That was partly because it's a fairy type, and that was the new type. But a lot of that is its design, too. And even though Yveltal is an incredible design as well, like I said, they're both two of my very favorites. It still kind of feels like Yveltal got the short end of the stick compared to this. That was a crit, so we should be able to get off another one. You know what? Probably would have been smarter to yawn there, but... we're just gonna hope that Wild Pokemon AI bails us out, I guess. Or I could just throw a ball. It's a middle generation cover legendary. It doesn't exactly have a difficult catch rate. Ball or yawn? I'll try a ball. And if it doesn't work, I'll probably yawn on the next turn. Game lets me. Just noticed I have a Master Ball. Honestly, didn't even think about that for a second. But probably better to save that for a post-game legendary or something. This would probably work. I thought I jinxed it by saying that, but nope, we got Xerneas. Honestly, a little underwhelming that they made story-important cover legendaries so easy to catch, but better than frustrating the kids, I guess. See, what is this form? Who cares for this? I wonder whether there's like a practical reason they created it. I don't know. But I'm underwhelmed. But we'll see it in battle again in a moment. Legends say it can share eternal life. It slept for 1,000 years in the form of a tree before its revival. There is, of course, only one nickname we can reasonably give to this. Everyone, Say hello to Big X. Not just my nickname anymore. If I had 6 Pokemon in my party already, I'd be prompted to add Xerneas. I think I would be able to say no. But I have fewer than 6 Pokemon in my party. And, conveniently enough, fixed encounter Pokemon are legal in this playthrough now, so I can use Xerneas. Bad news for Lysandre. Let me tell you. What a relief. Now they can't use the ultimate weapon. You're amazing, Big X. A legendary Pokemon wanting to be your friend like that. It's unbelievable. What a startling development. I wonder who's speaking right now. I never would have thought you were really a chosen one. Yeah, after our first battle, I wouldn't have either, but funny things happen. Like you showing up wearing whatever those are. So this is the mighty Xerneas? I expected more from a Pokemon called the Legend. They never explain these, do they? Like, I guess it's his apparatus to control the ultimate weapon or something. Did I miss anything in the game? I don't think they're ever explained. I know he uses the gauntlet thing in the anime to control that giant rock. But that's a whole separate Lysandre story, pretty much, from this game. From the games. You desire help from people? You need help from a human? Oh, he's speaking to that higher power Xerneas now. What's going on with that outfit? That's what I want to know. Is that really you, Lysandre? Or whatever? Oh, also the gauntlet, of course, resembles Mega Heracross when he uses an attack. Which is probably intentional, taking inspiration from Mega Pokemon. But I don't know what these flying bug things are about. Maybe I missed something. Big X already beat you. What are you doing here? Look how mad Shauna looks, by the way. It's appropriate, of course. For me, victory is using the ultimate weapon. In order to do that, I need to reclaim the legendary Pokemon's power and send it to that weapon once again. I'll be taking the legendary Pokemon back now. Of course, we saw Xerneas transform and break out just while I was standing there watching. I think the legendary Pokemon might have something to say about that, Lysandre. But he says, this time I won't lose. I too shall use the Mega Ring and Mega Stone that you researched during your travels. He talked earlier about wishing he could use Mega Evolution. Was he lying then, or did he get one somehow very recently? Never explained. But here's our third and final Lysandre battle of the episode and the entire game. It looks a little different now. One more time with my favorite battle music in this game, this time with a dramatic background. And Big X here, I think, is going to show him just how, just what it thinks about being put back in his machine. Big X knows Gravity, Geomancy, Moonblast, and Mega Horn. And we're not a Grass type. I don't think we're worried about that Acrobatics. We'll start things off with a big Geomancy. Look at that power getting absorbed. Oh, a Swords Dance. That might be too little too late. Crazy move, Geomancy. Probably don't even need to talk about its competitive effects. Fun to use here, though. And look at that animation. That is Xerneas unleashing the power of eternal life. Here it is in the form of a Moonblast. Goodbye. Probably gonna go Pyroar next. Because that's his only... Oh, Honchkrow. Well, that's certainly a choice. Now it'll be Pyroar. His only Fairy Resist. So, I mean... My only good attack is Fairy type. And actually, my only other attack is Bug type. Probably gonna have to switch out of this, right? Oops. Ooh, no, a Fire Blast. Into +2 special defense. Yeah, this is why... I don't know what it's like playing this in Y, but... It's downright silly how Xerneas just sweeps the last Lysandre battle. They probably should have done something to avoid that. And this is the kind of silliness that I was trying to avoid originally when I banned fixed encounter Pokemon, but of course, now I'm embracing it. Shouldn't have killed my other Pokemon, huh? This is what you get. Of course, Gyarados is a water and flying type. It's not weak to Fairy. Maybe it can take a hit. Oh wait, oops, it is weak to fairy. What am I saying? What was I saying? Silly me. Breaks the mold though. Is that gonna help? Yeah, I mean, from my first playthrough of this game all the way to the current one, I don't know. I guess it's appropriate for the story, because Xerneas is telling him exactly what it thinks in no uncertain terms, but it's the big dramatic final battle with Lysandre. He's got all this weird tech and a fiery background, and Xerneas just annihilates him very easily. I was, in theory, originally trying to avoid that, but it actually feels pretty good to show it off in this series. Big X will probably be the first Pokemon off the team when I get a couple more encounters, though. We'll see. It's over. Fools with no vision will continue to befoul this beautiful world. That's right. Don't you forget it. It will go on until the only thing left to do is squabble over the remaining scraps of hope. That's me, a fool with no vision. And I think I made a pretty good showing for my people there. Whoa! Know what I think? Even if there's only a little bit of something, it's still best to share it. Even you managed to use Mega Evolution. That's because Gyarados shared its power with you, didn't it? And not just Gyarados, but your other Pokemon too. Shauna is a good, low-key smart character. They genuinely wrote her well. I'm not hearing any more Shauna slander. Anyway, Lysandre says ... The legendary Pokemon is gone, so you can't use the ultimate weapon anymore, right? You don't have to worry about the future all by yourself. I think everyone should work together to make a better, beautiful world. Huh. Yeah, I've been talking about this game in very individualistic terms, but Serena's right. Cooperation is a thing too, even among different people with different goals in life, like the group of friends that set out from Aquacore Town at the beginning, like me, Xerneas, and Xerneas. Just called her Xerneas. Me, Serena, and Shauna teaming together against Team Flare. It all fits. Lysandre, rigidly fixed in one way of thinking about the world and seeing himself as the chosen one, thinks that he alone has to lead the better future no matter the cost, but you can have people live different lives with different ways of thinking about the world and bring their efforts together to make it better and more beautiful. Like Serena says here. It's a good moral. Yeah, I like it. If that were possible, all wars would have ended long ago. I had Lysandre with the classic social media dunk. Oh yeah? Well, if good thing is possible, why does bad thing happen ever? I can only see one future. If this idea is good, why doesn't it work literally every time with perfect consistency? One where selfish, foolish humans think about nothing other than themselves and steal more and more from one another. It's a tragic future. The original purpose of this device was to bring a Pokemon back to life, but the Ancient King transformed it into the ultimate weapon. The Ancient King who had the same name as that mysterious tall guy locked up at your lab? I know. When the legendary Pokemon awakened, it took back much of its energy, its power, that had been sent to the ultimate weapon. There's not much power left. There is enough to use it once. X, Sycamore's pupils. Let us live forever. That's right, I shall grant you eternal life. I'll give you the pain of endlessly waiting for a beautiful world to finally be built. Really took all the wrong lessons from AZ. Anyway, let's get out of here. And I guess he is controlling the weapon with those weird machines. I don't know. I really don't know what they were cooking with those designs. Tell me if you have insight. But here goes the ultimate weapon. Big old beam into the sky over Kalos. And right back down. Boom. I think in Y, Lysandre says he's going to kill all of us, right? Instead of making us all immortal. It probably says it in more child-friendly terms than that, but... Goodbye, poisonous flower. Hello, giant crater in the middle of town with a pile of rocks in it. And hello, masked heroes. Where have you guys been? I'm so glad you're all safe. I really respect the courage and kindness all of you showed. Thank you, we're all fine. Oh, Tierno and Trevor are here too. I didn't mean to ignore them. I just kind of didn't notice that they weren't here earlier. Hi, Tierno and Trevor. As you can see, we're doing great. Thanks for asking. We worked together to save the Pokemon connected to the stones on Route 10. Okay, you know what? That's crazy. Tierno and Trevor are actually the strongest characters here. How did they get past the grunts that were just standing there blocking the way? You know what? New headcanon. Tierno literally danced around them. That's putting his talent to use. It's part of a team effort to make the world better. Anyway, nice that those Pokemon were saved. Mostly left battling with Team Flare to Sina and Dexio. Who are they? We're the masked heroes. Don't worry about it, Tierno. We're all doing the best we could to stop Team Flare's plans. Oh, we have a bit of news for you all. We managed to destroy the machine in Lysandre's lab that was spying on people's holocaster transmissions. So we won't have to deal with Team Flare anymore. I don't really know how the one follows from the other, but sure. Yeah, I mean, they are gone, yeah. I go back to filling up my Pokedex. You know what? They unleashed the wrath of Trevor by taking him away from the one thing he wants to do ever. That's probably what happened to those people who were standing around. So it's finally over, right? We can go back on our adventure, right? Let's go back to Anastar City and start over from where we left off. Hell yeah. Thank you, Big X. I have so much respect for you as a friend. It's because I respect you that I want to beat you in battle as your rival. I really mean it. That was actually nice. They all, well, except Tierno. They all kind of expressed what they're about in different ways. Nice reminder of how this diverse in the sense of how we think about the world, people came together. Trevor wants to work on the Pokedex, but he had a higher priority. Shauna wants to get back to her adventure, because that's what she's doing, really. She's just having an adventure. Serena feels kind of a stronger camaraderie that she wants to express through battle, because that's her thing. She's a competitive battler. It's nice that they had those tie-ins. And I'm going to stick with the headcanon that Tierno got past the grunts by literally dancing around them. Anyway, it's that guy who has the same name as the king. Let's see what he's saying. A long, long time ago. A very long time ago. The man made an ultimate weapon. Using it required the life force of many Pokemon. The Pokemon granted eternal life learned this. Resurrected eternal Pokemon left the man's side. The man was surprised and sad. He had revived it so they could be together. Day after day passed, but they were never to meet. Eventually he became a mere shell of a man condemned to wander forever by the light of the weapon. And a Pokemon that also wanders eternally. Where is it now? What do I have to do to meet it? Is redemption possible? Well, probably not for Lysandre at this point. He might be dead. But I know there's a popular fan theory in X specifically because he said that he was going to use the ultimate weapon to make us immortal and then it dropped back onto his base. Then maybe he did make himself immortal and he's just stuck under those rocks forever. I don't know how I feel about that, but that's a fan theory. So, Lysandre, if you're down there, guess I was the chosen hero of destiny after all. Probably a bit late now, but I hope you learn your lesson. No more genocide for you. Anyway, how's your sex life? Okay, and we're gonna call it there. I went back and forth a bunch on whether to give this Team Flare plot its own episode or continue on to the 8th gym. In fact, I still hadn't decided when I was doing the mid-episode grinding, but this is long enough, and I think there's enough between here and the gym to pretty nicely fill an episode itself. And I think Team Flare, After all I've talked about them, all I've analyzed and picked them apart and laughed at their suits, I think they deserve this. So we are going to call this a completed episode here. And we'll be back next time for the final gym. See you then.